let's start with Bad Blood, though, Bob. Five matches. Let's rank them 5-1, 5 being the worst. What was your least favorite Bad Blood match and why?
Well, I'm going to start off with one that I had the highest expectations for. So that's why it's the last on my list. It's Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with Dominic in the shark cage. I was really let down by this match, especially the end. Raquel Rodriguez, she had the mast cell activation syndrome. Like, she's been out for months. I'm happy she's healthy.
Me too.
Very happy she's back. But I don't care about her involvement in this feud. I don't care that her and Liv Morgan used to be women's tag team champions. I was ready, so it looks like we're going to get Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez now, and Liv Morgan's just going to be staying as champion. That doesn't interest me. I was ready for a title change, but we got this, and I just wasn't happy with the Dominic shark cage, how they used it. He was dangling for a minute, but I think that might have been a botch. I think he might have gotten caught up there. I don't think that was planned. So overall, worst match of the night, and the match I was expecting the most out of. I was looking forward to the most due to the storyline, so very disappointed in that one.
That's not worst for me, but it isn't close to the top, I'll tell you, because I liked the stupid stuff that Dominic Mysterio did. The fact that he was supposed to fall and then didn't fall and then was dangling from his leg. First off, thank goodness he's okay, because it's a very way that could hurt himself. But I thought it was planned the way he fell and held himself. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was really funny, and I bought the gimmick. I did not care for Raquel Rodriguez coming back. I also, knowing now that Crown Jewel is going to be champion versus champion in both promotions, Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax doesn't interest me in the least. Where Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax still wouldn't interest me a lot, but it still would be something you could probably build a pay-per-view around. But hey, I'm not booking the show. That was third for me. Fifth for me was the other women's match, Bayley versus Nia Jax. You can't pay me to watch a Nia Jax match. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people, it's popular to deride her for various reasons. I'm coming at it from just a wrestling fan angle. When I watch her matches, I'm not entertained. And it just, all of it, the whole package doesn't really work for me. What did you have at number 4? Or I should say, where did you have Bayley Nia?
I had a 3.
Oh, wow. So who's your 4?
And the 3 was just because of the Tiffany Stratton inclusion. I'll just go talk about it when we get to it. But 4 was Finn Balor versus Damian Priest, another match.
That was also my 4.
Yeah, I was just, the build could have been so much better. And then we get in the ring and it's like, it's a standard match. I don't remember a single damn thing from this match, and I watched all of it. So that's my review of it. I was really disappointed in the build, how you get that hotel room key for Finn Balor, and then it just doesn't matter for a month and a half, and then he's just like, well, yeah, I was actually the one who told told Dom to break up with Rhea. Nothing happens with that. It's just, I'm disappointed in it, and I let down. It's Damian Priest. This is his first feud after being World Heavyweight Champion, and it's like he feels like he's not a star anymore.
Yeah, and then you but you put Nia Jax Bayley at 3 because of Tiff Stratton.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was a good match. I thought that after the bookends, match 1 and match 5, that middle 3 sucked. Yeah. Wherever you want to put those middle 3, they all sucked. But yeah, it wasn't the worst match. I thought that this match was better than Bayley versus Nia at SummerSlam. So I'm not going to say it. Yeah, it isn't at all. It's a very forgettable match. No title change. But yeah, that was my number 3. So what did you have next?
No, I was right there with you. We just flip-flopped the women's matches. We both had Damian Priest and Finn Balor, which leaves the final 2 matches as our top 2. Bob, I'll let you go first. I think it's very clear what match was the best and what match was second. Who did you have at number 2?
Yeah, I had the main event as number 2 for me, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline. The match itself was okay. It was fun. It was a spectacle. The entrances were longer than the matches. It felt like the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes take a day and a half to get down to the ring. It's surreal. Jimmy Uso returned during this match. We haven't seen him since he was kicked out of the Bloodline after Jey Uso beat him at WrestleMania. So good to see him back. And then The Rock at the end. That was the big thing. The obviously Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns win. The Rock returns, doesn't get physically involved, just stares at Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. But that moment, just the final boss, that's an additional 2 stars for me. So if it was a 2-star match, it's a 4-star match just because The Rock's back.
2 things I want to say. I have that match as number 2 at well. First thing is, did you watch The Rock go live on Instagram immediately after the pay-per-view ended?
I saw clips of it. It's just, he's brilliant.
It was It was fantastic. I could watch that man do absolutely anything, and it's overload, man. Like we've seen The Rock in every movie and every awful, like the world is ending, The Rock must save it type thing, and it's like still when
Rampage or
that
whatever.
guy
Yeah.
is playing a character on Instagram Live and free to do whatever he wants, pointing at faces on tour buses and making fun of him as he goes, it's extremely entertaining. And I don't know if it's entertaining because I know the guy from when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Watching him as The Rock growing up is one of my heroes and seeing him now, but it's still, he's so damn good at it. And yeah, a big fan of The Rock, big fan of that match. And the second thing I want to say is, if you're a fan of the NFL, they have obviously 3 hour games in the NFL, and then afterwards, if you have some packages, they'll clip down the games to about 30 minutes, and it'll just go play to play to play to play to play, and it turns 3 hours of commercials and timeouts and referees and penalties into 30 minutes of actual action. I'm pretty sure if you did that to the Bloodline match, there would have been about 5 minutes and change of actual action, like punches being thrown, jumping off of ropes,
Yeah.
hitting springboards, like. But it still worked because truly you forget how much gravitas Roman Reigns has.
Yeah.
He is like to go from where he was. Another reason why I was so mad at that stupid Vince documentary for not covering it, but to go from where he was and how hated he was. Not like, it was X-Pac heat. It was get out of the ring
Yeah.
hatred. And to where he is now, you would watch him stare at someone for 90 seconds and still be entertained. It
Yeah.
is phenomenal how much that man controls the ring and controls the emotion. And I thought it was very, very entertaining. Very happy to see Roman back. I bought
Agree.
it, man. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I really, really loved the match. Yeah, I was a huge fan. And again, welcome back, Rock. Welcome back, Uso. Excited to see how this continues. I know it'll be drawn out till WrestleMania, and we'll be complaining about how long the build is. But hey, those moments matter when Roman's in the ring. And Cody,
Yeah.
to me, he was like the all-star, probably physically in this match. I thought he was really awesome, but he again is the champion here, and it seems like he's the 10th most important person in the match. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
No, it does. It's just he can't escape the bloodline either. It's just
Yeah.
never ending. But yeah, you're right. Is it's shocking how much of a star Roman Reigns is. Like how
Yeah.
you don't realize it. Like I was one of the guys that hated him with the suffering succotash promo or
Yeah.
whatever that was. Like I was just he stopped shoving this guy on us. He's not the guy you want. And then he gets with Heyman, does that heel run, and now he's the baby face they always wanted him to be. It's
Yeah.
just funny how that worked out.
It's unbelievable. It's truly
Yeah.
unbelievable. But yeah, that's what we have moving forward with the bloodline, and that saves the best match for last, Bob. Oh, I also will say before we move on, uh, just I cannot give enough praise to how WWE booked, handled, and displayed the Kevin Owens Cody Rhodes turn. I thought
Yeah.
that was a genius next era of wrestling moment, truly, because to have it not be filmed by any WWE camera and rely on the fans to be like, oh, there's Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Let me take out my camera as I'm 30 feet up in the air walking to my
Yeah.
car. Just absolute genius. And good on Kevin and Cody for making it look as real as they did and not doing like the fake, like, you know what I mean? Like it looked
Yeah.
like a real beat up. And it was if I was a kid watching this, I would genuinely have thought Kevin Owens attacked Cody Rhodes, and the way they handled it on Raw, like I thought it was perfection, an A+ job by whoever thought to do that, and the way they did do it, man, I can't say enough.
Yeah.
Did that seem like because truly, I think we're going to look at that as we go to the future. Like I think we're going to look at that and see like this is the next step in pro wrestling in the reality era.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I loved it too. It was just in the out of nowhere after the pay-per-view, everybody's just talking about whether you like the show, you didn't like the show, and then all of a sudden that drops. That was just took that. I knew that Kevin Owens was going to turn heel. They've been teasing it for months, but I was like, this is a great way to do it. This is a very inventive, unique, caught me off guard. Just
Yeah.
keep doing stuff like that. Get fans talking, get fans just going crazy over nothing, essentially. It's just a couple guys throwing fake punches in a parking lot, but I lost my mind. And I knew it was happening, but it's just because it didn't happen on SmackDown and some cheap promo and it just, this came off as real, and it just gives an extra energy to the rivalry.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes, they lost the pop in the crowd when they did it at a SmackDown or at a pay-per-view, of course. They lost that pop. I think they got more out of having it happen this way. Like, more
I
people are
to-
talking about it because of the way it happened this way. I thought it was absolutely genius. But the last match on the
totally
card
agree.
is number 1 for a reason. It opened up the show. I said on our preview show that I'm not a fan of Hell in the Cell matches because, we've seen it all before. They're kind of slow. They're kind of daunting. The cage gets in the way of the camera sometimes, like all that stuff. And the crowd sometimes doesn't know what's going on. We actually heard them chanting, "Turn on the screen" during this match because the big screen wasn't showing what was happening in the
Yeah,
match. However, all that said, I don't know what 5 stars is in WWE. I
yeah.
hate CM Punk. I don't want to watch him wrestle anymore. This was a
Oh, I do.
five-star match. This was a
Yeah,
special, special, special match. And props on Drew for continuing to work with what seemed like a deadly gash on the top of his
yeah,
head that was not planned, that was, happened during the match, and they kept rolling with it. And again, WWE has to wipe the blood off the face. They have to, keep that PG-14 rating, whatever it is. I thought they handled that really well as well. I thought it added to the match. The referee trying to wipe Drew off, like they made it seem like it wasn't because the upper ups are telling us to do this. He made it seem like this is a safety. Like, I thought it all worked. And props to CM Punk. Props to D-Mac. Props to the way they held this. Props to them for taking some of the bumps that they took. When Drew
oh yeah.
McIntyre comes to do his Claymore kick and CM Punk moves out of
Oh,
the way and he lands on the steel steps, I grimaced, Bob. I
yeah.
thought this
That was
was
rough.
excellent. Excellent. The wrong guy went over to Tony Cavallo, but again, that's okay. I thought it was a fantastic match.
Yeah, and I liked I was bickering and complaining about the bracelet thing for 9 months, and then I liked how they ended it with the him pouring. You think he's grabbing a bag of tacks? It's just a bunch of beads of the bracelet. He pours the like just everything had a purpose in this match.
Yeah.
Everything they did was planned out. It was the rivalry was a little too long due to Punk's injury, and they had to jump like just distract you with beatdowns every other week. Got a little old, but once we got to this match, you take a step back and you look at the rivalry as a whole. Their matches at Bash in Berlin at SummerSlam, pretty damn good rivalry, and this is a pretty damn good way to end it. This is a really
Yeah.
good Hell in a Cell match. I like the way they're doing the Hell in a Cell at one Hell in a Cell match at a pay
Yes.
per view. It doesn't have to be named Hell in a Cell, just one a
Yeah.
rivalry that needs it. Don't if you do 3 Hell in a Cell matches in a night, I don't care by the third one. So I'm
Yeah.
glad they did it this way. I wish this was the main event. I know why they didn't, because The Rock returned, and that's the great closing shot. But this, you can't follow this match.
No.
Like, nobody could have followed this match. I forget who came on after. It might have been Rhea versus Liv, and that might have been part of the reason why I hated it. It's like, how do you follow that? So, but
I
yeah, it's
know.
just a really great match. One of CM Punk's best matches since he's returned, probably of his career, to be honest. It's up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
AEW or WWE, absolutely. This was
yeah,
probably his best match in either promotion, even with the dog collar match with MJF. I thought this was a really, really special, special match and a special moment. And yeah, I'm right there with you. And also, before we end our Bad Blood review, props to Goldberg, man. I thought he played his part great in the little thing he had to do with Gunther. But that is it for Bad Blood.